Hey guys, so this week's main theme was about plants, and in around my house I have a lot of plants, and I think it is kind of like plants and greenery and nature is like a thing that a lot of people like to include in their homes because I think it is a symbol of like a home because of the growth that's involved and the sense of unity it gives a room when there's just plants and greenery involved in the room, and the way that the composition of the room also improves. And so I think that they do play a really big part in how we perceive a lot of spaces. And even in my room, like I have a few plants here and there, and I want to get more. But I just think it is kind of a symbol of just like what would belong in a home and a room, and what really makes a room feel more like warm and inviting. And I think plants always really do play a really big part in that. So I will provide visuals of when I went out in my backyard and also my little entranceway area that's in the front of my house. And those are the spaces that I used a lot to clear my head and also just like hear the wind, hear the environment, hear the space around me, and really clear my head before I get into, let's say, working on an assignment or studying. It's a really just like a place to really just kind of clear my head and get in and kind of get into the mode of doing whatever I'm about to do. And I'll provide more visual for that later in this video. But I also do have a drawing because usually what I do when I do go into these spaces is I draw, or and that also helps me because it's kind of multitasking in a way where I'm kind of like enjoying the space that I'm in, but also trying to distract myself from what's happening around me. So drawing is a good way I do that. So I will provide a drawing that I did kind of while I was out there. I usually like pick an object that's nearby and then just draw something off of that, and that's what I did. Um, but basically, this assignment really kind of gave me a moment to kind of breathe and kind of really use the methods of just kind of enjoying nature, going outside. And it was raining for like the past a couple days, so that did also help with the atmosphere because I personally like rain, so I think that that also played a big part in how my mind was at the time. I seem to be more at ease and more focused because the sound of rain is actually really soothing, and it also helps me sleep better as well. So I think that also did play a big part, and so I kind of like how it lined up with this assignment. But yeah, so let me just get to showing you the examples that I have, and yeah, and I'll probably do a voiceover if I feel the need to, but yeah, okay. So basically, I'm sketching out a plant that I saw in my backyard. I've never really noticed that it was there before, but it was basically just a green little cute plant that's in a pot that's like full of dirt. Sorry, I'm no artist when it comes to environmental things, but I try my best to kind of go with the flow and kind of picture that. Like, this is basically the example of what it is. Yeah, but no, this is just me kind of just like time lapse of the drawing process and things like that. And then in this part, I just kind of put words that I was feeling at the time. And so this is the space that I was mentioning before, like my entranceway area. Yeah, this is basically the front of my house. But yeah, it's really cute, decorated. It kind of just made it a tiny little space to kind of go outside, and it's in the shade, and we just kind of look out. Usually, like with recent weather, when it's raining, we usually come out here and just kind of watch the rainfall, and it's really pretty. I wish I recorded that, but I didn't really get that. But yeah, that's basically my other small space that I'm usually in. And here are some other pictures that I took in my backyard that just kind of be there, kind of help with the atmosphere too. Hi again. So the number one message I really tend to get from plants is to slow down and breathe. And when you really look at a plant blowing in the wind, you can see it's almost in sync with it because like as the wind would blow a certain way, the plant goes in that way. And I think that's also a way of life, I think, to kind of just go with the flow, go with the breeze, you know. So that's my message of when I ever see a plant or when I interact with a plant or smell a plant, the overall atmosphere of it is to calm down, slow down, breathe, and really take in your surroundings and take in nature. And I think with how technology is in the world and how we um, are always on social media, always online, always kind of following the trends, I think taking that step of going out and isolating yourself outside is a way to kind of slow down and make sure that you're kind of getting your daily dose of nature, basically, and a daily dose of being reminded to slow down and not kind of let the world take, like, kind of like control you in a way. I think to kind of be more freeing. I think a lot of people can agree that when you do go outside and just kind of take a walk, you do clear your head a little bit better. And I think seeing the plants around you and seeing the greenery and seeing nature also contributes to that. So that's what I see in plants and what I've always seen in plants. So that's kind of how I would push that message out to the world and say, like, remember to go outside, take in your surroundings, breathe in the fresh air. And especially with kind of how COVID happened, where people were kind of inside and didn't really know what to do and didn't really get to go out and travel and be around in nature. But I think getting out of that, it's kind of important to remember to not be so confined to one space and indoors, and like make sure you go outside and kind of explore and go more out into the world and kind of see what's out there instead of just what's in your confined space of a room. And so that's kind of what I took away from this. So yeah, thanks for listening.